Welcome, welcome to another EBX discussion, and salute to my soldiers and soldierettes, because if you alive and breathing, we are back to fight another day, like I always say. And let's get right to them honors. Honor thy ancestors, honor thy mother, honor thy father, I honor thy brother, and I honor thy sister. And may anyone in our families that we held dear, may they rest in peace and in power. And may all of our families prosper, and everything we touch turn to gold. And thank those that been joining in, my new subscribers, salute. I give honor to my son that's been joining me here on this journey, and you'll see more of us. Lord Lamont, look for the recent video we just did, father and son discussion. You'll see more of those, and we'll be doing music. We're still working on the music. We have done some already. So just go on my channel, more than welcome to scroll through and hear some music that I did and he did. I think the couple songs me and my son did, we collaborated. He did a verse, I did a verses. So check us out, and there'll be more to come. It's a work in progress. Always be in the spirit of progress. And salute reachers and teachers that's doing their thing. And let's get right on into it. And I know it's a lot of brothers and sisters that have talked about this and is talking about this. But as I heard a brother say, a content creator, I say, one of the most respected, and there's a lot of them out here, brothers and sisters. We should add on to the culture. If we're not adding on to the culture, don't fuck with it. Don't play around with it, because it's not a game. Because when it comes to the psychological, that's when it's not a game. So that's why we should add on to the culture. And let's get right on into it. My sisters, and I've touched on this before. My sisters, do you know how divine you are? Do you really know how divine you are? How beautiful you are, inside and out? And I see it all the time. And, I study and I observe things. And, once you become self-aware, you find yourself doing that. And, I pay more attention to my sisters now. I pay attention to my brothers too. Salute. I try to say my brother. I'm still working on it, because as we all know, we all been conditioned to be the way we are. And once we kind of understand that, it makes things, you see things clearly, as I said here recently in the video with my son and I. But yeah, that's real talk though. You begin to see things clearly, and you'll begin to study and understand why our sisters, some, are the way they are. So I'm here to tell you, my sisters, you are divine. And what is divine? A greater, higher, supreme being. If you think like this, my sister, in a spiritual way, in a deep way, and not a conceited way, things will come. Life will become effortless. Your thinking will become effortless. Your behavior will change. Your thought pattern will change. How you interact with the outer will change via whether it's people in the world or maybe with your children. How you socialize, everything about you when you become in your higher self, my sisters, will begin to change. And I'm not talking to those that's self-aware, that already know themselves. I'm talking about the ones that's still lost in the conditioning that a lot of us have come through. You have to read between the lines, because I do cold talking. But yeah, some that are, not all sisters now, because I think all sisters are beautiful. I really do. Because all of us, we all have been in a lower place in our lives, in a space where we wasn't somewhat aware. But when we do, we begin to see the beauty in each other, and that's brothers too. But this podcast is solely for my sisters. And I've touched on this before. I've made a podcast called Sisters Don't Waste Your Beauty, and I'll probably put it in my end screen. And I've done a couple of them. And one podcast on the thumbnails, my two daughters, Naya and Andrea. And I'll put that on my end screen so you can check that out. Because I always speak on my sisters, and I have been observing sisters, really deeply studying and observing sisters, probably for the last 5 to 10 years, of really taking the beauty of a sister serious, because I one has had struggles with the lusting and looking at sisters as for the physical. I've dealt with those battles. Once you begin to see through all that, my brothers, once we see through all the lusting and looking at the physical and really talk to a sister and get to that inner self, once we do that, it's a beautiful thing, brothers, and it will open up a whole new avenue to our sisters. And then and when we do that also, it'll keep us from getting in relationships and not paying attention to red flags. And and sometimes, brothers, well, a lot of times, most of the times, we have to take sex out of the equation because it clogs our thinking. If you're not thinking of if it's not togetherness, a spiritual connection, and it's just sex, you have to take it out of the equation, brothers and sisters, because when you don't have when you don't have the right mindset about sex or making love or whatever we want to call it, when we connect with that significant other, if we have the wrong mindset, things will be complicated if you just go into it not thinking and willy-nilly, and you just having sex for the feeling of it, and not a spiritual connection, and not someone that at least someone you have a spiritual connection with, someone you know each other really well, and not just a fling, and especially for my sister, especially these days, and I'm speaking more so for the younger sisters. Younger sisters, this is for younger sisters and older sisters, but I will also say younger sisters and sisters that not are that much aware and still lost in that conditioning. Because remember, my sisters, and I want my sisters to hear this and know this, all of us have been conditioned to be the way we are, whether brother or sister. So start there, my sisters. If you want to know yourself, if you want to find your true self, not the outer or looking in the mirror and being conceited and using your body, no, use that inner. You will conquer more ground. You will cover more ground when you study your inner. And why is it important to study your inner? Something you will hear a lot of other teachers say, sisters that are teachers out here, salute. You'll hear a lot of them say, just like many brothers, if you don't study that inner, you will live a complicated, imprisoned, fucked up life. Now, I'm just going to cut through the chase. Your life will be fucked up. It all depends on the choices you make. And it all begins when you're young, when you start, you enjoy your youth, you enjoy your young days, but when you kind of start paying attention to things and you see red flags, that's when you study, analyze, step back. But even if you do step into a mistake, don't let that stop you. Just don't keep making the same mistake. Because something you'll hear me say time and time again, and many other reachers and teachers, and my sisters that's teachers out here, you can't keep doing the same thing. You'll hear me say this every other podcast because it's important. You hear a lot of us say this. You can't keep doing the same thing, especially if it's not doing you any good. It's not breathing life into oneself. And I'm talking to my sisters. And if it's not bringing change, and you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. It is not going to work. You'll be a hamster on a wheel. And we all have been through that at some point in our lives. Like I say, some wake up soon, some wake up later. But you better wake up, especially if you're attached to family, children, Always got to look ahead. That's why it's important what we do in the present. That's not just saying that, my sisters. Know your beauty within. Like I said this on a podcast. Know your true beauty within. And things on the outside will be beautiful. And it also will heighten your intuition, my sisters, when you pay attention to your inner self. You got to go deep. You got to go into those things that hinder you, my sisters, especially my young sisters. Watch those hindrance. And what are hindrance? There are things like, let's say, lustful thoughts that have no spiritual connection. And it's okay to get thoughts like that because we're human. But analyze those thoughts. Make sure that you see where they're coming from. You got to be careful of these little thoughts that come into our mind, because wrong thoughts can lead to wrong impulses. Impulses is a major, I would have to say impulses, my sisters, are a major crisis in this world right now, because impulses is that battle within. And that's the most challenging battle, is that one inside. So my sisters, whatever you have to do, research, listen to mom, aunties, grandma, sister, even a brother. If you got a brother, whether it's biological brother or just a spiritual brother, but a real one that overstands our sisters. It's a lot of brothers out here, We got some good brothers out here. Salute to the real like-minded brothers out here that feel the way I feel about sisters. And it could be, like I said on the podcast, it could be skinny, it could be big, short, tall, dark, light. It doesn't matter. It's all about the beauty within. Because me and many other brothers, we've said this, the ones that's real out here and been on this walk for a while and know why we are the way we are. I don't care what you have on the outside, sisters. You can be the most beautiful sister in the whole wide world. But if you're shit on the inside, doesn't matter. You can't put makeup and a fake personality over shit. At some point, it's going to bleed through because shit stinks. And eventually, it's going to stink. So just be real from within. Don't be manipulative and play games, because you'll find yourself in this circle. And especially if you come across those that are spiritual and that have awakened inside, whether brother or sister. If you are a toxic sister within, and you're doing things secretly that the other, or I'm just giving an example, and you're, conversing or with someone or talking to someone, whatever. If you have malice, evil, manipulation, sneakiness, conniving, if you have any of this in you, sister, your life is going to be fucked, and guess what? Those that are attached to you, they're going to take on, if they're not aware of how you are. Like I said, toxicity can be poison. It's contagious. So especially if a person is not aware, and that's what happens. It's a ripple effect. It spreads when especially if it's, let's say, I'm gonna give an example. Let's say we have a female leader. This is just an example. Let's say we have a female leader and she has a lot of sisters following her that really are loyal to her. Let's say I say a queen sister, like a queen bee or something like that. Not B as in BITCH. I'm just a queen. Just an example now. Now, if that queen is corrupt, now let's say these are loyal sisters that follow her, that love her, cherish her, would fight for her, die for her, kind of like that movie we saw, like the movie Woman King. But let's say we have something like that. We have a sister that's a leader, then she has sisters that's loyal to her. Now, if she's corrupt, evil, toxic, what do you think is going to happen to the rest of the sisters that believe in her? What if they're not? They're looking up to her because they're looking for truth. They're looking for inner peace through that leader. So if she's corrupt and toxic on the inside, then the rest of the tribe is going to become toxic because they're not aware, remember? So they're going to think that's the way. And that's just in a little example. And it can have an effect because human behavior, depending on who we are, if we're around individuals that's toxic, human behavior can be very contagious. So that's why you hear so many teachers, salute brothers and sisters. That's why we are so hard. Seriously, we are fucking hard on being self-aware. That's why it's important to be self-aware. That's the epitome of being self-aware. Because, like I said, human toxicity can be contagious if you're not aware of it in an individual. So I'm saying all that to say, my sisters, that's why you have to know your true self and know that you are divine. You are like God. You create life. I've said this, my sisters. Do you know how divine you are and how beautiful you are inside, though? Inside and out. I've told my son's mom, I've told her she's beautiful many times, and she is. I tell my sisters that. I want them to know that, and not just a physical beauty, an inner beauty. I want that. You got to bring out that inner beauty, and you got to maintain it. You got to keep it. Can't live no fake ass life, because brothers like me, sisters like me, we gonna pick up on it. So you can still try to think we dumb and think you're getting over and conniving and sneaky. What I always say, folks, and a lot of us teachers say this. We say this, but we say it in different ways. You know, brother or sister that's teaching out there. What do we always say? I don't give a fuck what you have inside, how sneaky, how smooth you think you are. If you're dealing with someone that's truly rooted righteously, deeply, and know themselves, the universe is going to draw it out. Whatever you hide, been there, done that, as many of us have. So please, my sisters, those that are doing this, if you are manipulating the father and the kids, and it's gonna come back around. You know, you can't, no one is above the greater, higher force, the higher supreme being. So just be right to begin with, even during a challenge, and get over our fucking feelings. Fuck our feelings. If they're not righteous feelings, you know, we're gonna get feelings because we're human. But that's why we have to study oneself, my sisters. That's why you have to go within. And I know I seem I'm cussing and I'm coming a little hard because I love my sisters, you know. And when I was going to do this podcast, I was going to make it all pleasant. And so, no, my sisters, I want you to know that you are beautiful within. And, you know, another thing that brought me to this conclusion, and also know that you are divine within. Before I finish what I was going to say, know, my sisters, do you know how truly divine you are? And some sisters say, yeah, I know. No, so I don't think some of you do, you know. Because I see beautiful sisters every day. And I say to myself, our sisters are so beautiful. That, man, some of them just don't know how beautiful they are and can be. And again, I'm not talking about the physical, but that's beautiful too. You know, the skin tone, the different skin tones and different shades, and, you know, different sisters have different personalities and different styles. It's just beautiful, you know. It really is. It's really unique when you really do understand our sisters, you know. But I want our sisters to feel what I'm feeling, and many other brothers. We want brothers that feel like I feel. We want our sisters to feel like that. We want you to know your true beauty. Be that queen that you are. You know, stop stunting, you know, stop, you know, lowering yourself. You are like God. I put you in that position. You are a creator. You can do something, you know. I know other races can do this too, but everything comes from a sister. Everything began with a sister. So, and I'm a black man, so, and I come from a sister. So, you know, got my name from a sister, got my game from a sister, like Tupac said, you know. So I will never be afraid to be who I am. You know, I can only be who I am, you know, black to I transition, you know. So I will always speak on my sisters and my brothers. But like I said, this particular podcast for my sisters, you know, I don't think some of my sisters, man, some, I ain't saying all, some of them, do you truly know how divine you are? You know? Do you know? I mean, really, that's I'm pausing. You know, I'll wait. I mean, but I know this. I'm not talking about the ones that know their true self. I mean, some of these sisters, and you know, I don't go on Instagram. I've talked about this before. I don't do a lot of social media outlets. I don't have a TikTok account. I don't be on Facebook. It's probably been a month since I've been on there. I can't stand Facebook, you know. But the only reason I keep it is because of the real people I link up with. You know, some friends and family I have on there. If it wasn't for that, I would probably take Facebook down. And I mostly be on, you know, here on my channel, you know, trying to reach and teach and lift brothers, you know, and sisters. And, you know, and my son and I, it's a good way for me and him to connect too. This has kind of brought us together. So it's many great things that can come from social media. And, you know, when you're an observer, as many of my brothers and sisters out there, salute my real like-minded teachers out there, my underground teachers, salute. And, you know, when I do get on Instagram, and it's usually the same shit, and I really feel kind of sad for some of the sisters that's on Instagram, not the legit ones, not the ones that's legit, and because you can tell the ones that know themselves and the ones that don't, and it's sad. And you know, And they hit my direct messages. They haven't in a while, but they hit them a lot. And I don't even be on there. And you know, to all the sisters that, you know, they're Instagram models, and especially the young ones and coming in the beginning, just make sure that you watch yourself and be careful. And make sure you do your research and make sure those that you are connected to are legit. Because if you know that you are divine, you know, you would be above Instagram modeling. Real talk. Just do what you have to do without showing your body and revealing yourself. Because that's not spiritual, my sisters. That's not divine, my sisters. And you also will give the sharks out there, the one that has no sense of self, that are seeing you with these images, and they have these expectations of you. You know, you got to remember, weird people on this internet that are on there, I'm talking about the freaks, you know, the ones that's not on there, that ain't on there for no damn good purpose and just trying to be fucking nasty and shit. I'm talking about them. Now, you got to see the perception they have of you, because they nasty and toxic. You know, they'll have that same mindset and put it on the sisters that's on these Instagram models. You know, some of them can mean well, and it could be a good sister that might be revealing some of herself. But the person that's viewing you, they don't think like that though. They're not thinking about your mind and your spirit a lot of the times. So that's why I'm saying that. That's why you have to be careful, my sisters, on this social media and on this Instagram, being an Instagram model. That's what I'm saying. Know your true divine self. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm telling you. Study divine. Look it up. Study inner peace and inner intervention. You know, reinvent yourself. You know, surprise people. You know, do things you never did before. Ask questions. You know, if a brother message you and direct message or something, ask him things off the left. Ask him what he believes in. Where is he spiritual? You'll be surprised. I'm telling you. So that's my thought, my sisters. I just want you to know, my sisters, my sisters, my sisters, I love you. I think you're beautiful. And, you know, from young to old, you know, and I want you to know this, and always draw out that beauty within. You're divine. Everyone has a divine ability within them, especially my sisters. You create life. You create a whole human being. That's where you can start. Like I said, look up divine and study pineal gland. Look that up too. And all that will help you to deal with the challenges in your inner self, so you can bring that divine beauty right on out. And I'll say it again, my sisters. You're beautiful. I love y'all. And my sisters, do you know? And this could be a question or a statement. Do you know? Do you truly know? I mean, really know how divine you are. I'm telling you, so divine. But I want you to know this. So that's my thought. That's my positive thought, my loving thought, my real thought. To all my beautiful sisters out there, salute. I love you. And much love to those that come in and listen to an EBX discussion. Thank you. And the reachers and teachers, much love. I honor your family, my family. I honor my children, their mothers, brothers and sisters all over the world. May you have peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. And one love, my sisters. Keep on working on that beauty and bring it out from within. And it's the gift that will keep on giving. One.